in his prime, how would you shut Ocho down?
Whoa, wait. Before you answer that, hold up, before you answer that. I'm still in my prime. Go ahead.
No disrespect, no disrespect.
Look, it's easy for real, man.
Easy?
Easy. Just get hands on him.
I say that's
He wasn't
strong. Everybody
strong.
say that.
He wasn't strong like
what?
that. He wasn't strong like that. He wasn't trying to block for real.
Nah, I wasn't physically imposing at all, but it's one thing couldn't nobody do with me. See these things down here? See that?
Dance?
Hey.
Take him to the dance.
What?
Take him to the dance floor.
Right off the line. I don't even see you. I'm not saying I'm Ray Charles, but I don't see you. I don't play that.
You stole JB Smooth's joke, bro.
A girl from Memphis, you know, from the ghetto, and being able to be invited to the White House, like, that was everything to me.
It's not good to have yes men and women around when you're trying to climb the mountaintop.
For a long time, I was just like, why me? Like how did this even happen?
When you're the only Asian guy and you know you're gonna be the only Asian, you're like, I better represent.
I know what I'm capable of, so like, it's just gonna take them to notice.
I always say, never hate on nobody because you don't know where they're gonna end up.
Here we go, season 7. But as they say, time flies when you're having fun, and time has went fast.
I always say this, we're lucky to have these jobs where we get to sit with incredible people that in all cases we're fans of, but we also learn a lot while we're here, right?
Yeah. Here's to more great conversations, great moments, and of course, great style.
Always great style.
Here's to season 7.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Whether fairly or unfairly, there's this notion that, you know, female rappers don't get along and there's always beef or whatnot, but, you know, I know you've worked with Nicki. You know, what was that experience like?
It was breathtaking, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it took so long for it to really sink in for me. I think now I fully, like, understand and I could be like, yeah, I did that. But, like, at the time, it was just so emotional for me and I just, like, couldn't believe it. Like, for a long time, I was just like, why me? Like, how did this even happen? Because, you know, I grew up listening to Nicki and, like, I was, like, 7 years old when I first laid eyes on her. So just to, like, grow up and finally get 2, like, big songs with her and be Grammy nominated with her is, like, unreal for me.
Something that I knew could potentially happen just because of how I looked, I was already prejudged, you know what I'm saying? And I'm an athlete of integrity. I never had to cheat in my life. I'm great at what I do. I'm blessed at what I do. So again, when you're great at something, people wanna take you down. So, you know, whatever, I get the phone call, so I'm like, dang, you know, now this about to be out in the news, and I had to get my own lawyers, I had to get experts. I did the whole 9 and spent my own money on this thing. Again, boxing doesn't have a union. And when you're a woman in the sport, you know how women's sports are already. And in the boxing game, it's even worse. We're not treated with equality when it comes to pay and just the respect of what I do. I train just as hard as these men, as my male counterparts. Like, I'm blessed to have them to work with. But it's like, let's put some respect on the real issue. You know what I'm saying? We are both going in that ring, risking our lives, you know, with 8-ounce gloves on, no headgear, you know what I'm saying, for y'all entertainment.
There's been conversation about there will eventually at some point be a woman head basketball coach in the NBA. Do you feel there's an unnecessary importance in that? Meaning like you've already reached the pinnacle of coaching. You've won, we're sitting in the home you helped build, right? Back-to-back championships. Would that mean that much more to you being an NBA coach than the success you've already had?
I think it used to.
Okay.
I think it used to. I think that was the goal. I'm so happy here, and I have so much joy coming to coach these women every day. Their vibe, I don't know if you know our group, but they're
I mean,
they're
being
hilarious.
the champs don't hurt.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Winning helps.
Exactly.
Winning solves a lot of problems.
Yes, winning solves,
like the Bulls over here.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, I got calls to interview this last year, and I just said thank you, but no thank you.
Oh, really? You got calls?
You didn't even interview? You didn't take the interviews?
No, I did not.
My mama older, so like I got older parents. Like my dad is 73, my mama's 60.
Oh,
So my parents always was in their 40s and 50s while I was growing up. So they always listen to Anita Baker, you know, them type. But we did watch like 106 Park. Like I knew who people was, but once we got in the car, we not listening to no hip hop station or nothing. They finna play straight 95.7 Hallelujah FM, like only gospel music. But I did know the music, but I just didn't know too much about it. You know what I'm saying? But when I first started rapping, the first song I ever did before I let my daddy hear it, I was talking crazy. My dad was like, "What the is you talking about?" What the?
Wait, you played it for him?
My daddy was the lesser strict parent, like, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't feel ashamed to let him hear my music, but my mama, I was so scared. Like, I didn't tell her I was rapping or nothing. Like, I was like 2 years in and didn't tell her. Like, she had no idea I was rapping, but my daddy knew. But my sister had ended up, I was at my apartment cooking one day and my mama called me. She was like, "So you do music?" I was like, "How you know?"
I really wanted to do a show about where I'm from, clearly, but I wanted to say something about who the people of Chicago are. I really wanted to humanize, particularly young Black men. That was super important to me because is there violence in Chicago? Yes, I can't ignore that, and I would never deny that. But there's a lot of humanity in Chicago as well. And also, I think people assume that people are born violent, or born with this in their DNA to do illegal things. No, I think sometimes we may not be the product of our environment, but we can be the product of our circumstances. And so what I want to show is like, how do we show up in certain circumstances? And that to me taps into our humanity at home, because you're wondering, what would I do if somebody was offering me a bunch of money and it would improve my life, but might make my safety questionable?
Like if they addressing you.
They call me sexy. You gonna hear all them say sexy.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. So that's cool if we say sexy.
Yeah, that's cool. Say
Okay,
sexy.
what if I say red?
Yeah, because you said
know what
red.
you're talking
That's
about.
why-
Yeah, I
when
just thought-
when she walked up, you said red.
I said, what's up, red?
I don't be like mad, but like I go by sexy.
Okay, all right, sexy.
Okay.
Who gave you that name?
This dude, we was trying to figure out a name for me. It was red, but we gotta put something in front of it, and then it's like.
Oh, when you was becoming a rapper, it was like, oh.
Yeah, to upload my first little YouTube rap video. We was like, what name you gonna put? I'm like, I don't know. And we was thinking of stuff. And he said, Sexyy Red. I'm like, I like that.
Sexyy Red.
How long ago was that?
That was like six years ago.
Did you have a rap name before that? What was your
I had a
name?
regular name. It was Trill Red. That was my street name.
Trill Red.
Trill Red.
Wait,
That's
so
hard.
from the street see you, they call you Trill?
Yeah. Like your Facebook name? That's what it was.
Trill Red. God damn.
Yeah, that's called my Facebook name.
What was your first rap name?
Black Wolf.
For real?
Black Wolf, how old
And
were
Big
you?
Boy was Black Dog.
How old
Black
were
Dog,
you?
Black Wolf. 16.
And you guys had a name before Outkast.
Yeah, we was 2 Shades Deep.
Two Shades Deep.
Like we were big, Tribe Called Quest fans. Like, so we was kind of like, the 3-word names were in at the time. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
That's like y'all was in sync.
Yeah. That was, the way at the
How
time.
did y'all change it? The name of the group and y'all, like y'all.
Cause then somebody in our high school, man, they stole our name. They a singing group, they gonna call themselves like 4 Shades Deep. We're like, man, you done stole that. No, for real, they called it themselves 4 Shades Deep. And I was like, they done stole our name, and we was kind of like outcasts in the high school because we dressed different.
Period.
And so, we was like, we just gonna be outcasts.
So I do gotta ask, we were asking what to call Sexy. We figured out it's Sexy. You yourself, it's 3 Stacks.
It depends
André,
on
Dre.
who you're talking to.
Okay, what would you
Like
prefer
my
to go by?
homies, they'll call me like Stacks, 3 Thou. Dre, Big call me Dre.
Still.
Yeah. Partners in the hood will call me 3 or Stacks. Yeah.
Which one you prefer? You answered.
It don't matter.
You answered all.
Give them some tight nicknames.
Yeah.
You got some hard.
Oh, yeah, Stacks.
Stacks.
What's your nicknames?
Him.
Yeah.
The one and only. No,
Serious. Straight like that.
nah.
What's your name? Him? I'm him.
What's your nickname? That.
Okay, I'm taking that. Because I seen like a lot of girls that was coming up, get in the rap game and stuff, and then I'm like, oh, so they like this. What I know they like what I got to say then. I'm like, why they ain't with me then? Like, I ain't know what it'd take for them to like notice me. But once they did notice me, it was up. I knew it. I knew it though.
What'd you think did it? That people started to know? Is it a certain song? Is it a certain demeanor?
Nope, I feel like it was just my time. Because like my baby daddy had got locked up, and then I was like more focused. I was like, dang, now I could focus.
And who helped you develop your, as Dre said, like, develop his pen and writing, like
sound?
Usually it's a producer. It could be a producer. I think probably you was probably in the dungeon. You also had a partner.
Yeah.
Because a little bit, like, who helped you develop that sound?
Nobody, me.
You did it all yourself?
Who else gonna do it, man?
But who you was listening to though? Like, cause I heard you one time say, "I'm the female Gucci man."
Yeah, I was listening to some of everybody, man. Like, I'm weird. Like, you probably wouldn't even think I'd sit and just say, "Turn us on, André," and be like, "Hey, yeah."
In your sport too, like, obviously, your sport is one-on-one also. Most of the time, there's deals, but there's usually one-on-one, and there's no break in a mano match. In basketball, I go, okay, get a couple possessions. I'm gonna go stand in the corner, and let these two handle it. In your sport, there's no break. You have to just keep. I'm tired, but I'm not tired. I'm okay. How do you break through that when you feel like there's a wall there?
I feel like it's just training, right? I mean, obviously for them, it's life or death. My sport is not life or death. Like one wrong move, one little break, some little distraction. Like I've been to one UFC fight and I was like, yeah, no. To watch was too much. I saw one of the girls put someone in a headlock and I was like, and they were chanting break her arm and I was like, Mom, I gotta get out of here. Like this is overwhelming, right?
Your mom was chanting break her arm?
No, not my mom. No, the crowd started chanting break her arm and I was like, wait, is she really gonna break her arm? And I was like,
she definitely was going to.
No, she was going to snap her arm. Like
tap.
With nothing, like we went to it was in Madison Square Garden, and I was like, this is different, right? Like this is real different. It was the first fight, like one of the first fights, and the break her arm thing. I was like, Mom, I don't know if I can hang. Like, this is a lot, right? And I think in tennis, totally different from fighting. Like it's one-on-one, but a little distraction, you can lose a match. But again, tennis can go on for so long. You could play a 3-hour match for men. You could play a 5-hour match. Like,
what's the longest you ever played?
4 hours and 44 minutes.
Which were at?
That was, I don't know, I was like 20 somewhere, I don't know.
4 hours at home?
Yeah.
Do you get little breaks at all? Like a little 15-minute lunch?
No, you just get like a minute and a half, like during the changeovers.
4 hours?
And you just keep going.
Yeah. That's mentally.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's like a little bit more challenging because you are out there on your own, and up until like probably 2 or 3 years ago, there was no coaching at all. So you couldn't talk to your coach, you couldn't get any feedback. It was just you were out there, and like that wasn't as fun. Now it's a little bit more enjoyable because you can talk to your coach, you can yell at them, scream at them, whatever can happen, but it's mostly just you and you're walking around and trying to figure it out. And
Nelly, you also had your first joint was one of the biggest in the history of music. Did you think it was just gonna be like that? Because you were young too. How old were you?
No, we was just.
How old were you?
I was, okay, here's the thing. Originally, you know, when you get your deal, and we got a deal in the 90s, in 99. So back then they had all of these things, artist development, do all of this and all of that, right? So technically when I got my deal, I was 23. I had just, you know, like 23. The record label just put it out, 20-year-old Nelly. I said, the check cleared, I don't give
20-year-old Nelly.
20-year-old Nelly, 20-year-old Nelly. I don't give, you know what I'm saying? They were like, no, but you look like you're 20. Should I say something or should I not? But again, the check cleared. I didn't care. Wow. So they said I was 20 when I first came out. But I knew, and everybody around me and the whole U City knew, man, that man graduated in 93. Okay, whatever, it's working.
Put back. Did you ever play in the Little League World Series?
No, I didn't. Because I was just hoping to go gold. I go gold, I go on tour, I can make a little money, I'll open up a liquor store, car wash, some laundromats, barbershop.
Hood business.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, listen, straight to it. Barbershop, because our group was like naturally created in a barbershop. You know what I'm saying? Like Leroy's Barbershop, shout out to Leroy's. And the first day that the album dropped, Universal presented me with a gold record. And I was like, I was damn near in tears. And, you know, we just was
But
fortunate
then how
enough.
did you not, because my point is like, your was so massive.
Instantly.
You were the most famous rapper in the world all of a
They
sudden.
tell you it's so crazy, because we asked Ced, and I know he probably, he probably wish he could go back in a time travel. He did the intros on Country Grammar. If you listen to the commercials and the skits, he did those on Country Grammar. But he did those for a little of nothing.
Yeah, a little.
Little of nothing and no, and really no,
I mean,
hold on, and really no points on the album like he was like, we offered everything. Like, yo, he was like, nah, you know, y'all just getting started. Don't worry about it. We'll knock it out. This is nothing. You know, y'all from the loop.
Yeah.
He did it out of love. Then it goes 10 million. He's like, yo, what the?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Where are those points?
That's wild. That's the one you go like, that's crazy.
Calvin, it's interesting to me, like, hearing their stories, like, not being sure if you were gonna get the audition or get the role or be accepted or if it's gonna pop off for you. How early were you sure you had a real shot?
I kind of, I wasn't, all right, high school, I had a coach speak confidence into me. That was a start. I remember.
But he's like, you're 13. That's what I knew. You're 13, fam.
I'm 6'4" at 13. Just came off my 10th touchdown in the game.
I'm like, wow, 10 in one game. That's crazy.
Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy.
I think I could do this.
So like, my junior year in high school, and coach is like, you know, you could be one of the greatest that ever did this. I'm a junior in high school.
Wow.
I'm like, that's a powerful statement to tell somebody. Like, I'm just like, I'm still green. Like, I'm still getting used to my body. I'm lanky and skinny. Like, I just hit this growth spurt. You know, I'm still trying to figure it out.
My first day of filming for Jackass was my last day of performing at the flea market circus.
Wow.
Like, within a half an hour of washing off my clown makeup for the last time in the circus, I was barfing up a goldfish at the side of the road because my car broke down and the whole crew just had to pull over to the side of the road and figure out what they were gonna do. They were like, go get the fish.
Wow. Wow.
I've known you for years. I never knew that story. I didn't know you went to clown college. That's fascinating. Yeah.
I dropped out of college in 1993, and I was just like, I'm gonna become a crazy famous stuntman. And in 1993, there was no precedent for that. There wasn't even internet. They didn't even have email. Like, everybody I told my plan to just felt sorry for me. and I was homeless for 3 years. And then I found out about the clown college, and I thought, man, if I graduate from Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Clown College, then all of a sudden I'm a trained circus professional, and people are gonna take me seriously as a stuntman.
I'm gonna be a clown that they take serious.
Yeah. And it kind of worked that way.
Is the curriculum at clown college, like, rigorous? It's like a...
It was, man. It was rigorous as dude. We trained for 14 hours every day. By the time it was done, after just 2 months, it was more like boot camp. Like, I had fallen in love with the idea of joining the circus, but I wasn't one of the clowns that got a contract.
Well, the Marvel call is the call that changed my life. I mean, that was like, yeah, so it'd been about 3 years of me going to LA, nothing really happening, but, you know, obviously, you know, you're making, everyone's an overnight success, but what they don't understand is the work that goes in, right? So I had been chipping away, and you know, I'd come close on a couple auditions. What I didn't know was that, you know, people were starting to take notice on the casting side, and then, you know, it was like very fortuitous, but like off the success of these 2 movies, Crazy Rich Asians and Black Panther, all of a sudden studios were like, hey, maybe these types of movies work. Like, maybe different people could be super.
These type of movies mean non-white people.
No, non-white people.
There's other people in the world.
We should give some of these guys a chance. And so, you know, the like hero, it was like gonna be Shang-Chi. And of course he did Kung Fu, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. Hey. But it was, yeah, so it was in 2019 that basically me and every other Asian dude that was an actor or had acted in anything knew that, like, this was the role, moment, you know? Yeah. And so that process started, and in the beginning, I mean, I had no I really didn't think that I stood a chance in the world.
Did you
man.
you had to read for that, or did they call you and say we want you?
No, I had to read.
There was a lot of people reading.
3 rounds, a lot of people reading, and I remember I would just look myself in the mirror, man, and I would be like, all right, I'm like not the tallest, not the best looking, not the best at kung fu. Like, what the? It's not gonna be me.
Yeah.
There's no way it's me. What I was surprised by actually is that Destin, our director, he didn't prioritize the kung fu. He wasn't like, no, actually, we just want a kung fu master and we'll teach him how to act or whatever. I think he really wanted a character. He wanted relatability. He wanted every man. He wanted this, this guy to be a voice of all Asian Americans in a way. And I was like, as soon as I kind of wrapped my head around that, I was like, I think I could do that.
How did you start doing comedy, by the way?
Actually, I was auditioning, trying to get booked, but my accent, I can't speak English. People don't like my accent. I couldn't get a job, but then one day I was auditioning for John Singleton, his TV show called Rebel. It is a black girl, she's a cop from Oakland, and then a Chinese girl is a sidekick, has no kung fu. So that's rush hour on a budget.
Rush hour on budget.
Yeah, you're shooting right now.
So I forgot my lines. I started doing improv, and John Singleton just started laughing. He's like, "You're very funny. Do you know who this is? This is Ali Wong. You should do stand-up comedy." So I'm like, "Do I have the job now?" He's like, "Hell no. I don't understand what you said." But he got me into open mics, and I started doing open mic. Then I bought a club in 1 month.
Wow.
That to me, that's very awesome that you bought a club, because you kind of like made your own space for you to try out your own jokes.
Yeah.
Like, man, that's entrepreneurial.
I knew I wasn't good, and I needed 10,000 hours, and nobody want me on stage, because when you are not good, nobody wants you on stage. So I bought a club.
Where at?
Melrose and Cahuenga.
Oh, wow.
It's right
That's
there,
hard,
and that's what happens when you don't marry for love.
Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
But I can't stand outside, though. I have Mexican working for me, because if I stand outside, people always want to get their nails done. They're like,
Yo.
We all know Dungeon Family.
Yeah.
But what was the physical place like? Because it was a studio almost, right?
It was a makeshift studio. We had like house speakers and a few drum machines and like car seats that would tow out of cars on dirt floor. It was like a crawl space in Rico's mama house, and Rico was kind and visionary enough to let us all young stay in her house in the basement.
That's crazy.
If she wouldn't have opened her doors and it wouldn't be no dungeon. Shout out Ms. Wade.
Period. Shout out to her.
Facts.
Yeah. He was like, sometimes you gotta have somebody with a cool mama.
Oh God, I was just finna say that.
Real, like,
it's always
she
gonna
let
be
us
that
smoke.
one friend in the group
She let
that
us
you got
smoke.
their house, they got
She
it
let y'all
all,
smoke while y'all was on
Yeah. I mean, we was never disrespectful.
But I'm sure
like,
from her point, y'all was safe.
And she was like, if they in my house, then I know they ain't out there doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody
And
needs
I
a
mean,
friend that got a mama like that.
I don't know if she would like agreed, but
It
we
beats
was smoking.
alternative.
Yeah,
She's probably like, it beats alternative,
we was downstairs, and so she let it happen.
Is there a sense amongst the players like, oh, our new coach is black, this is different? Was there any conversation with the players about that?
I think we being honest. I think that depending on the location of the team makes that a bigger deal.
What do you mean?
Like a black head coach on the Patriots is gonna be much bigger, in my mind at least, than putting a black head coach on the Raiders as far as the way it's perceived. And the same would go for Green Bay. I think that's just kind of the nature of it. It's not necessarily
that's
like...
actually nice that you say that.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that's just the way that it is. Some of the teams are not, it's not looked at as, like there's any racism attached to it or anything like that. No negative connotations, but it's more of like just the history that's been there, and you haven't really seen it happen that way before. And the Raiders is just a little bit of a different type of team.
Well, they had the first ever black coach in the history of the league. The Raiders did, just Archell with Archell.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Is there an award you haven't won that still stings?
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year.
Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah. I mean, that's the only award that I don't have in my house. That kind of stings. I talked about this before, like, it don't make sense. It's almost like what Jay just said about B. How can she have the most Grammys, but never won Album of the Year?
Yeah.
So the year I finished second in Defensive Player of the Year award, the guy who won Defensive Player of the Year didn't even make first team all defense.
That doesn't make sense. Is that even possible? Yeah.
And I also had an opportunity, too, to be, I would have been the first unanimous MVP where I got all 120 votes, but I got 119th.
Yeah. Do you know who the one vote was?
Yeah, I know.
Carmelo.
There was a one vote, he voted for Carmelo, but
it was a writer in New York, man.
No, it was a writer from Boston.
Boston.
Of course.
Boston gonna Boston.
Of course. But I know his name, too, but I ain't gonna give him that light just yet. I'm gonna wait for the doc on that one.
But the media votes on these awards, and like, it's. I don't know if it's a perfect way to do it because humans have bias, but
it's like non-players that vote on.
Exactly.
So why they voting? That doesn't make sense.
So that's my point. I agree.
I don't know the answer. I don't know what it should be, but why they voting? If you're not watching the game, you're not studying the game, you're not listening to the peers of the game too. That's like really telling you like, he's the best player. That's the best album.
Nelly, coming from the Lou, did you ever have chip on your shoulder? Because everything was LA, New York. We always talk about that with the Midwest, man. Like,
goddamn right.
Yeah?
Goddamn right. But you gotta understand, my era of music was the toughest era in hip-hop ever. Ever. When I put out songs, I had to go against DMX,
Eminem,
Jay-Z, Eminem, Lil Wayne, 50 Cent, Luda. All of us are fighting for one spot. So from 99 to like 2008, 10, it's the hardest era ever to get records.
Units in pimp juice and us.
The hope is people see me evolving as an artist, because hopefully we're all evolving as people. So as you continue to move forward, different things inspire you. Like, I think you might have been more intrigued by the actor world, being an actor. Like, that was exciting, that was interesting for you, but also for us as audiences. And so, but then you're like, okay, well, let me go back and give you some music too. You know what I'm saying? Like, Will Smith did a similar thing. So it's about, sometimes something is just more fascinating to an artist. Like, even André 3000, like, yes, do we want him to do a rap album? Sure, but he's like, I'm on this flute game, y'all. Like, this is my jam right now. I'm super into this. And so it's like, okay, cool, we'll take that. And
yeah,
so
I need him to spit, though.
Yeah.
I need him to spit, man.
I want to hear him spit, too.
Like, flutes. Man, come on, bro.
But y'all,
come on, bro.
Go through phases.
Listen.
Like,
Listen.
Like,
I want to hear him spit, too.
He is,
I want him to spit.
Look, I'm going to be very, because the comment's going to be crazy. He's amazing, all right? His bars is all the way up. I'm very clear.
Yeah.
Not the flute, B. Not the flute.
I want to hear him spit.
I like the album,
Don't do the flute.
I like the album.
I want to hear him spit.
That's the
Very
flute.
calming.
Listen,
I was
not
like,
the flute. Not the flute. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Like,
I don't want to hear him do the flute.
It was
You want to hear me do a violin? You might not want to hear me do. But do you want to hear me do a violin now?
Whatever you want to do.
LL got the violin?
Yo, Latifah did a jazz album.
I've been working on it for 7 years.
Latifah did a jazz album. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I love him. Listen.
We wanted
Dre's
words.
bars, I just want to hear. I want him to get with Big
words.
Boy. I want him to get with Big Boy. I want him to make an Outkast or do a solo album.
Well, look, I
Every
think
time he
Big
does
Boy
a record,
words.
one verse, it's enough material for an album. He's so gifted, right?
Right.
So it's like, come on, B, like, not the flute.
I wanna hear
like,
words.
We're not gonna lie. Like, don't get that man needs to know the truth. He needs to know the truth.
Yo, I like the album.
Nobody wants. You like the album?
I did.
What's your favorite song?
Of course, people always say money can't buy happiness. But me, like, I'm still cheap as like, I still like look at a bottle of water, and if it's $4, I'd be like, what the hell nah? Give me the $2 bottle. Like, I'm cheap as hell, like. And I ain't gonna lie, like, my first year I blew up, this was before I got an accountant. I was just spending money, like, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting it, I'm making it, but I'm spending it too. So, like, I really want just in tune, like how you were saying, like, you want just looking at it like that. And so, God had got me in accounting and stuff. And so, like, now he helped me, like, navigate my money more. And so now, once I actually see that I'm spending it, I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I be spending a lot of money, I don't even want to look at my bank account, because I just know I spend too much money.
Welcome to the club. I look at it, don't look at it all the time. I never look at it.
I swear to God, I be like, I know I just went ham this whole weekend. I ain't even finna look at my
I just
bank
gonna go
account
back to
and
work.
Yes.
What do you say when you get the thing? You gotta do what?
What?
You gotta make more money.
Gotta make more. That's the only option.
Can I ask you a question, though? Because this happens with us getting players and the role of agents. And agents really, they want to get you a good financial deal, and as much as they can, because they want to use that, then attract other players to them for the...
Correct.
But agents have to be managed, because you might go, because they want to get a big, they take whatever percent it is,
100%.
and then they want to use your contract as a way, rather than doing what's right for you personally. Do you think I'm wrong?
No,
when
you're absolutely right. I think that athletes have built that problem themselves because there's such a high percentage of guys out there that just give the people that manage them the POA to whether it's dealing with their financials, you know, their contract situations or whatever. And, you know, the agent may want you in a different situation personally for him because it works out better with him. You know, if you were to go to Arizona or something, you know, based off of that, you may make more money in that contract, whereas you looking for happiness and you want to be in a certain place. And if you don't have that same trust with that agent, he may come to you with information that isn't correct. So for me, I just make sure I manage that throughout the way. Like my financial advisor, he knows I'm interested in what's going on with me. I'm not gonna be just sitting back letting you pay bills and do all that stuff. I need to know, and I want to learn about anything that I don't know.
When did you realize, oh, it's not just about the love, this is also a business? How soon in your careers did you realize that?
I would say at about 30. Right?
30.
It's like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to play forever. I better start.
Oh, well, that's late.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
I'm saying late as a professional athlete, that is late in your career.
For sure. But we weren't making a lot of money either. So it was just like
the love.
And I love to play basketball. Like, I have loved it. I mean, if there's two things I love, it's basketball and Jesus. And then I just go. But I've been a
It seems
basketball
like that should be in a movie.
No, that's a good line.
If there's two things I love, it's basketball and Jesus. We'll be right back after this commercial.
And did you, at that moment, were you like, I'm gonna be a coach? And did you say you wanted to be a coach in the NBA? When did that, how did that all happen?
No. So I was doing some women's broadcasting for like the Pac-12, and they were walking off. We had just called their game, and the losing coach was like walking back, and the analyst was like, see, that's why like TV is the best. You never have to leave the gym a loser. And I was like, yep, it's not for me. Because you can't ever win.
Because you can't win.
You can't leave a winner either.
Yes. Do you have hardcore Nigerian parents though, like you said?
Oh, the hardcorest. Yeah. When I said I wanted to do music, yeah. I'm sure only you can imagine, bro.
Yeah, man.
My mom was like, so you're telling me that you went to school for 4.5 years to be a rapper? And Nigerians, they like the...
And that was a lot of sarcasm, right?
Bruh, this is the thing, bruh. Nigerians are probably the best in the universe at over-dramatic, negative affirmation. Yeah, they feel like if I can just say the most outlandish thing to you, that should encourage you. That should encourage you to do what you're supposed to do. Yeah. So she was like, so you're telling me you went to school for 4.5 years to be a rapper? She said, hold on. Honey, call my dad down. Come on, see the son you've made. Yeah. So then my dad would come down and say, oh yeah, tell your father. My mom, I was like, yeah, Daddy. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I want to try to pursue music. He said, you said what? I said, yeah, I want to pursue music. She said, what? My mom, why has God forsaken me? Hey, Jesus, what have I done to deserve this type of curse? I'm like, wow. Yeah. That lasted for like years.
Producers' catalogs actually get more valuable over time.
Right.
But people, like, I know you went through that deal where you had a deal at the beginning that took a long time to get out of.
Yeah, it's crazy because I'm actually still in my publishing situation.
For how long?
Your
original
one? I signed when I was 19 years old.
You're still in
I'm
your
about
original?
to be 37, so y'all been in the deal for a long time. Yeah, it's a co-pub with Universal Publishing and Polo, and it's just the way it was set up. It's just ancient terminology in the contracts, and I just now, thanks to like Desiree and Jay-Z and people like that really like kind of got me to the place I'm in now where I have an end date, but before my whole career I was working without having an actual end date to the way we really get our money, which is through publishing, you know what I mean? So I'm like, just a little bit more out, and that's gonna be like life-changing for me, you know what I mean? Just to even have freedom as a grown man, like I haven't been able to go do other deals or go get advances in different places like my counterparts have, and just like even, I eat very well, but it's like I know what it really is supposed to be, you know what I mean? And it's just like, that's gonna be the day for me.
Well, I've been independent my whole career, so I kind of been sitting in an executive seat before I really realized it.
I was having to make a lot of decisions and learn about my budget and all of these things before I knew that that was something that artists typically won't have to do. So it was nothing for me to be able to take that same blueprint that worked for my career and then use that to facilitate other people's careers, you know, going where they're supposed to go. And I started off in the production game. Like, before I was even rapping, I was on beats. So I knew off the early, like, how splits work and how publishing worked and how, you know, so.
Yeah, that's how he got so, he's been celebrated in a big way for that. Became a massive star and never signed with a record company. So he owns all of his own. That's how he got so rich.
That's brilliant.
It's brilliant and hard to do.
And then, you know, being involved in the business side, knowing the budget and what everything costs and where the money's going. Brilliant, yeah.
How did
Good
you,
for you, man. Congrats.
how did you resist?
Appreciate
Because
you.
every label wanted to sign you. I remember when you just did your deal with United Masters, it was like a massive thing in the industry. Everybody wants Brent. Where's
it was
Brent going?
nuts.
Where's Brent going?
Honestly, I'm more just, I do things like based off the people, right? So if I like who I meet with, like, I do things based off that. Because I'm a creative first, I'm like a firm believer in don't do nothing that you're not passionate about. So I feel like oftentimes people be wanting to get rich and they worry so much about the money that they end up never getting rich. When I feel like it's really a win if you just enjoy what you're doing. So I could take a meeting with somebody that's offering me everything in the world, but if I don't like you, then I'm not gonna do it with you.
Exactly.
So just something as simple as that. Like, is this somebody I'm gonna really have to be able to have conversations with? Like, am I gonna pick up when they call? If the answer is no, then I can't work with you.
Word on the streets, masters, selling masters. You talk about that a little bit, like
But
that.
also, I want you to talk about it from two points of view.
Okay.
There's Nelly, the artist. And there's Cornell Haynes, the businessman. What's the, how you filter both through both of those?
You can never really sell anything like that forever. Technically, at least. So, in like 30 years, it comes back.
It reverts back.
Right. So, if I ain't took the little 50 mil and made nothing happen in 30 years, then I need my whooped anyway. You see what I'm saying? Like, but, you know, you hear a lot of people, I would never do it, I would never do it. Why wouldn't you do it? That's your equity. That's your goal. Like, that's why you would never have generational wealth, because what you don't understand is that that's what you're vying for. Every time LeBron steps on that court, he's doing the same thing with his body. His body's his health.
Sure.
That's his equity.
I don't know about you guys, it's like a full circle moment for me. I'm from New York. Hearing these stories about Dungeon Family, hearing you at 16, and then remembering the South got something to say.
Yeah,
Right? You went to
What year was that?
94?
The Source Award.
94, 95, I don't
Got booed.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit about that? Do you remember that moment?
I totally remember it. It was not planned. It looked brave, but I was nervous as a mother. I was just angry, man, because, like, we're in New York, and we love New York. We grew up on all New York music, man, and when they announced who, I think the award was Best New Artist or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think Salt and Pepper and somebody else opened the envelope. So Best New Artist is Outkast? Like, they read it like that.
Yeah.
So we were angry, like, with Dungeon, whole crew there, man. Like, and I was just angry, man. Like, and I just felt like, I don't know, it just came out. And I just said it, like.
What'd you say?
I said the South got something to say.
You should watch this
y'all-
video. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even remember the whole thing, but I just knew hating on the South at that point. You know what I mean? It was wild, but I just remember just being really angry and driven because, like, we've been creating this music, man. We've been in the dungeon work, like, and we just felt like y'all don't get it.
Right.
You know, and sometimes you have to show people, man.
For me, if I'm being completely blunt, I didn't really care about making a difference. Anytime someone would come to me before 2017, you hit me up and said, hey, you know, can you donate to my charity? I was always great at writing a check, but I never wanted to spend time because my mentality was I work hard. If I'm successful financially, I can then help other people financially. And then, look, everyone knows the story when Robert's friend, all of our friends, when Meek went to prison for not committing a crime, what changed his life and my life in a lot of ways, you know, probably millions of people's lives, was Meek said to me, hey, can you come to court? I want you to see what happens when a black person goes to court. And I never thought anything of it, but I'm like, hey, you really want me to come? I'll come. And watching a judge sentence him to prison for 2 to 4 years for popping a wheelie on a motorcycle, which was a traffic violation. Like, as a white person coming from a middle-class family, I didn't believe that was possible. And so, in the beginning, it was really only about how do we get him out of prison. And what happened was my entrepreneurial instincts kicked in, and now I realize it's not just this one-off crazy up situation. It was really that this is the way Black America works, and that you had, you know, as I started looking into this and understanding it more, 25% of the people that go to prison and jail each year don't actually commit a crime.
Said, I want to know what you were doing when you saw the clips or heard the chatter. Like, were you just minding your business at home?
I truly was, man. Like, I'm not really, I'm not an internet
Everybody
dude.
loves Ced. Like, why Ced?
Now, everybody got to think about it. I'm truly a grown man, dog. Like, I'm not sitting around watching the internet. Like, that's not what I do. So everybody was hitting me like, yo, but people start calling me right away. Hey, you know, and then people don't know. St. Louis people are very sincere.
Oh, no,
about
you know
St.
I
Louis
hit
folks.
you. Yo, what's up?
Hey, like real. Hey,
Like,
about to tell them, I'm like, well, about what? Hey, what? When dude pull up, what you? Who, bro? He said, who? They was like, Cat. I was like, oh, that's the same. It's literally, dog. It's just something. It's one of those things for me. Like, comedy is definitely a space where we hear jokes, sure, but for me, that was a situation where he was claiming cultural appropriation, in my opinion. That's all I feel like. Driving an old car, rolling down the window, that's 70s. That's what anybody, if I ask anybody, like, how you drive your car, that's that.
100%.
You can't say my joke about a spaceship is your joke about driving a car, because we doing the same gestures. That's my opinion about it. But
We've been doing them gestures since the 60s.
It's a whole
and what's
thing, dog.
hypocrisy about it is he stole JB Smooth's joke.
Again, for me, I appreciate Young Gun. I think he dope, and not for that he did, but I'm talking about as a comedian. And so I'm like, I've been around this dude many times, which was my whole point.
Well, we have the
it's like we've
conversation.
never had a personal conversation about that. So why is it this?
Yes.
Right? Because if we rock with each other and I see you and you like that, you feel that way, then say that to me.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's have a
don't
conversation.
do that later.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what I didn't really appreciate, because, and you know, more than anything, like, you could have your opinion about the joke, his fans, his people who love him, all that. Like, I don't wake up worried about that, dog. I've been doing this. I am me.
I don't knock anything. What I don't like a lot of times, and we get this in hip hop a lot, and I just hate hypocrisy, bro. Like, it's not righteous. Hypocrisy is not righteous.
No, for sure.
And that's what I was saying about, listen, I love Cat. I love Cat. But I hate the hypocrisy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when he was rolling,
You stole JB Smooth's joke, bro. You stole it. Your very first Netflix special, when you came out talking
Which show?
about this song,
Oh.
when he was like, yo, this is my jam. You could do so much. You just make up a dance. That's JB Smooth. He did that back on freaking comedy.
Yeah.
What's the one Martin Lawrence used to
Def
do?
Comedy Jam.
Def Comedy Jam. JB Smooth did the same thing. Interpretation wasn't the exact same, but it was the same. His joke wasn't the exact same, but it's an interpretation. It don't matter. What are you talking about?
Certain things are just cultural, man. They are our culture. You cannot own the culture.
No.
That means people can't do a black preacher.
No.
You can't do a mama joke at night.
Inspires art.
You can't
It's
come
impossible.
in if I say anything
Whooping
about
joke.
coming home when the lights go out. Then I stole your joke.
Yeah.
Or what time you got to be at the house? Soon as them street lights come on. Oh, you stole that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Ocho-san, I saw you size him up a little bit when you said what's up.
Yeah, that's my little cousin.
But how would you if y'all lined up against each other?
He done there, had to rethink his contract. That's my boy. That's, you know, played in Cincinnati.
It's love.
Yeah, it's love, but I'm just saying, in a respectful manner, I don't play that.
But look, though, he did used to be my favorite receiver coming up.
Really?
You remember? I told him, like, for me, I used to be on YouTube, watching his videos. He used to be training with, like, Santana Moss, all of them at the field.
Dre
So
Johnson.
I used to be watching, you know what I mean? He used to be talking and everything.
He long and lanky though. He
So
was
how
would you stop? How would you shut Ocho down?
Ain't nothing wrong with that. I like that because I know how to get around that.
In his prime or
So
like now?
in his prime, how would you shut Ocho down?
Whoa, wait. Before you
Not in
answer
your
that.
prime
Hold
no
up, before
more.
you answer that. I'm still in my prime. Go ahead.
Disrespect. No disrespect.
Look, it's easy for real, man.
Easy?
Easy. Just get hands on him.
I say that's
He wasn't
the problem.
strong.
Everybody say that.
He wasn't strong like
what?
that. He wasn't strong like that. He wasn't trying to block for
Nah, I
real.
wasn't physically imposing at all, but it's one thing couldn't nobody do with me. See these things down here? See that?
Dance?
Hey.
Take him to the dance.
What?
Take him to the dance.
Man, right off the line. I don't even see you. I'm not saying I'm Ray Charles, but I don't see you. I don't play that.
Was there for Linsanity?
Yeah, I was there.
When did you realize it was Linsanity? When you were in it?
So funny enough, I was about to come back, and my back got hurt again because I had my back up, and so I had to work out another 2 weeks. So that was the second 10-day.
Damn.
Oh, that's when he got
that Jeremy Lin got signed, and so Jeremy Lin locker was right here, and so we played in Houston, and that's the game he got in. He had like 6 points, 4 assists, 2 steals, but it was like all garbage time. And I go to D'Antoni, I'm like, yo, bro, like, he's the only point guard that goes north and south. Nobody else on the team, on our team went north and south. So we get back to New York and we play New Jersey Nets. So, I'm working out at halftime. I usually go in a locker room, work out, and like just started. Like, oh yeah, he's scoring. Oh, okay, cool. Like they put Jeremy in. Like, damn, all right, come on, good job, dog. You know what I mean? We win the game. We like, oh, we gotta win. Melo was out too, cause he was hurt. So then the next game, it was like, win a game, like people like, damn, the monkey off our back. But nobody was thinking like, all right, dog, we about to win the next, we about to win the next game. Then we win the next game. Then we go to like Toronto and then he got the ball in his hand.
Yeah.
The last second.
You was at that game?
I was an accountant.
It was the
in
sickest
Toronto.
thing I've
and
ever
I
seen in
bought
my
those
life,
tickets,
yo.
man.
It was the sickest thing I've seen in my life because I'd never seen somebody go from damn near not about to make the team to the most famous person in the world, bro. There was.
What was it, 6 games? How long did it really last?
It was like 6 games.
It
It
was
was
like a-
Toronto, Toronto, it was like, we was down 6, and then we hit all these
The
big
game
shots.
winner.
And then he hit the game winner. Then came
Bro.
back, and I remember I saw Kobe the night before. I was like, Kobe, do not let this happen, bro. I was like, enough is enough, bro. Like, hey, do not let this happen, Kobe. I'm telling you, this kid is nice. Like, don't play around. He gonna y'all up. You know what I mean? And Kobe was like, man, whatever.
Did you see the interview that he did? That rest in peace. He's my absolute
is my
hero.
guy, man.
But that interview where they're like, are you gonna guard Jeremy Lin? And he's like,
No,
come on.
it was.
He's like,
it
I
was
don't
all
even know
that
who he is.
beforehand, because you got to think like the league. Nobody was like really up on it. They was just like, oh, the Knicks won. You know what I mean? Jeremy Lin had a good game. Like, oh, Jeremy Lin hit a good, game-winning shot.
Yeah.
So it's like that has happened before
For
with
sure.
people on
Sure,
10 days. Now he play the Lakers and he go and whop them across the head.
Yeah.
Then Dallas come back defending champs, whop them across the head. So it was like, it went from like 10 people in the locker and I'm sitting next to him, bro. It's like me, empty locker, Jeremy Lin. So everybody on the team had to go get dressed in like the shower and in the bathroom. Because the locker room was packed with media, bro.
Well, I mean,
That don't happen if it's not in New York, by the way.
But to be these
It was the most ridiculous I'd ever seen. It was like, my homegirls from Hollywood was calling, was like, yo, what's up with Jeremy Lin? I'm like,
Bro,
what do you mean? Like, he Christian. What the f? Like, is he single? You know what I mean? Like, I saw him on CNN. Like, what?
Damn, but what do you think about what Jerry said? Do you know Jerry? I assume you know.
I don't know him personally, no.
Wait, who said what? Somebody said something about masculinity? Who?
Jerry
Jerry.
Seinfeld.
Jerry Seinfeld said, what did he say exactly?
Just kind of, in essence.
He misses the days of dominant masculinity.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Sometimes, this is gonna sound like a thing to say, but sometimes I just wish, like, older people would, like, be quiet. It's like everything, we don't need to know everything that you feel or you thinking about everything. It's like, I get what you're saying, bro, but it's also like a time, like, it's like, bro, like, I don't know. There was a way to say that, and I don't, this idea of, like, I just want real, like, Because in my mind, like, so, like, you're talking like Clint Eastwood, like, what are you actually asking for? Because real men exist, they're just existing in a different time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't necessarily think there's this idea that like masculinity is dead, but I think it's just evolving. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes the louder voices are the ones that seem to be anti certain things, but overall, I just think the idea of masculinity, what it is and what it can be and what it can look like, is just evolving as things should. And I think all things will still exist. And I think people want all things. Like, I mean, as a woman, it's like, yo, I still appreciate like a lumberjack looking dude who looked like he could take care of some. You know what I mean? Like when someone comes to my house to fix something, I like that they look like they know how to fix. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want no R&B
No,
showing up.
I don't want no silky boy showing up to do some real energy over here. But then there's energy for the silky boy, where I'm like, I would appreciate the silky boy at this moment.
Yeah.
So I just think there's room for the scope of what it
Silky boy is crazy.
Mo, so do you drink when you're on stage?
No, I make
you
it
go on
habit.
stage totally sober.
Yeah, I like to be sober. It makes me more fresh, more sharp. It's weird because I've done shows before and I've had a drink like beforehand, and sometimes they've been my best shows. But I don't want that to feel like that was what made me feel like I had a good show. Do you
But
know
it
what
makes
I
you
mean?
more loose, right?
It does, but then the habit is like you can be too loose with the
For
tongue.
sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you know what I mean? I always say this as a comic. I was like, as much as crowd work is fun and you get to, you know, you can make some material out of someone in the audience. You also remember that at the end of the show, there's nothing stopping that person coming up to you and saying, let me talk to you for a second. Come round
Let me
the
holler
corner,
at you,
man.
my
Yeah,
man.
that's happened before, man.
Has that happened to you?
Yeah, that's happened before, man.
In London?
Yeah, it happened in London
What
once.
happened? Tell us what happened.
So basically, I used to have this part of the show where I used to say, listen, and the audience would be standing there. I said, listen, before I start the show, I'm not going to make fun of anyone in the audience. So I would point out someone. I say, let's say, for example, your name is Clarissa, yeah? And I say, chlamydia. Yeah, you all got the joke, yeah? So everyone got the joke that like, I'm going to say, chlamydia, yeah, your name, but it's Clarissa. So that's the joke. Audience laughs. I'm carrying on with the show. I see her boyfriend. He's not laughing at nothing.
The whole show?
The whole show.
You eyeing him the whole show?
The show's
He's probably
going well.
burning like a mother.
I'll never forget it. The whole show's going well. She's laughing, but he's just like this throughout the whole show. Now, as a comic, when you're on stage, you know when someone's laughing. You're like, this person's really not
Teddy,
laughing.
what's up, bro? Come on
Do you
in,
know
bro.
what I mean?
Come on in, bro. What's up, bro?
Yeah,
It's
what
Teddy,
up,
dog.
what's
You're
up?
jumping in at a great
Where am I
time.
here?
Yes, you're right there.
Okay.
Go ahead. So finish the story. So go ahead.
Yeah, so I've done the show. The show was fine. The show had finished now, and I remember the show finishing, and you know, you get paid after your show. This is like cash in hand days when I was still doing the open mic circuit. This guy's paid me, and I can still see this guy waiting around like this. And I didn't. You just know. Let me just leave. There's no reason for me to talk to him. 2 weeks later, I promise you not, I'd done this show. I'll never forget, the show had this L-shaped room. And there's one set of people here, they're eating food and they're not really laughing, but the other set, they don't have the food option. So they're just normal comedy goers and they're laughing. But I can notice as I'm performing that there's someone not laughing in this section where everyone don't have food. So I'm like, that guy looks familiar, man. He looks so familiar. And it's the same guy who was at the show previously. And again, I'm just like, my mind is rattled because I'm like, these ain't laughing, they're eating food, but these are having a fun time. But this particular guy ain't laughing. So I've left the show and you're in between these double doors and I walk through the door and he comes in, I look at him, he looked at me, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, no, that.
That was some
Pleasantries.
No. That is hilarious. No. All right.
So I'm trying to do the whole, you was at the show. He's like, listen, I'll never forget this. He goes, listen, I seen you at the show 2 weeks ago and you disrespected my girlfriend. And I'm trying to now explain. I said, no. The joke is, no. That. Yeah. My heart is beating, because it's never happened to me before. My heart is beating. And he goes, listen, if you ever disrespect my girlfriend like that ever again, I'm going to cave in your face, right? So then, again, I'm trying to explain. I'm like, no, but what is? He goes, listen, explanations. And I'll never forget this. He goes, listen, I think you're hilarious. Keep doing what you're doing. And good luck with the rest of your career. And I left out the door. And I was in this weird situation where I was like, that's the weirdest thing that's ever happened to me. But at the same time, I'm not gonna make anyone the butt of my jokes ever again.
So you stopped?
Because he was so calm. And I always say the scariest man is the calmest man.
You can hoop for real? What position did you play?
Well, I played the four.
The four?
Yeah, the four.
Yeah.
Nah, you ain't play the four with the little legs.
No, I'm 6'4". What you talking about?
The last hit.
Ocho, give me a pro comp. Who's like your style of game in the NBA
My
right
style,
now?
I'm like Rasheed Wallace. Like, hold on, listen, stay with me now. I'm like a mix of Rasheed Wallace, right? But I got the explosion of Derrick Rose in his prime, John Morant, and Russell Westbrook. Like, I got that type, I'm on that Mamba.
You can jump?
What? My birthday was about 46.
46 what?
Huh?
46 what?
Inches.
Yeah, come on, Ocho.
Y'all ain't never seen me hoop?
No.
You gonna see in a minute when we play that. You nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you is.